Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to the Whiskey Friend with me, Alan. It's another week, you know what it means, it's another brand new video. If you're a returning subscriber and you've watched the channel before, then thanks very much and welcome back. If you're new to the channel and you've stumbled across us for the first time, I normally do whiskey reviews, but at the moment, normally single malt whiskey reviews, but at the moment I'm trying to enhance my bourbon journey, so I've been trying a few bourbons over the last couple of weeks, and today I'm going to be doing some more bourbons. But if you quite like the channel and you want to feel like clicking that subscribe button, you may want to consider clicking the subscribe button, guys, and help us on our way, or help the channel on its way to hitting the magical 1k. But again, without any further ado, let's crack on. Today's bourbon, I'm going to do a little comparison. I'm looking at, I believe it's quite an iconic whiskey. It's the Eagle Rare Bourbon, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's from the Buffalo Trace Distillery down there in Kentucky. I'm going to compare the 10-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's at 45% ABV. To you American guys, that's 90 proof. But I'm also going to compare it, guys. It's quite interesting. I've managed to pick up Eagle Rare 10, same. But this one is a 1980s bottling, so it's an old bottling. So I'll just be really interested to see how these compare. Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, they do two kind of standard bottlings. I think this at one point used to be 101 proof. But I think they've changed it, and it also used to be a single barrel, but now they've changed that as well. So it's just bottled as a regular 10-year-old. Great to see a 10-year-old age statement on it. In fact, on both of them, and it's great that it's not many. I believe in the whiskey world we've gone through that phase where we're trying to keep age statements on bottles. I think in the bourbon world, I don't think it's quite as. I think it's quite rare to have an age statement on bottles. I have got a couple with ages on them, but I must admit, I like to see ages on bottles, and this is great to see. It's bottled at 45, I say 90 proof. So without any further ado, let's get these cracked open. As I say, they do a 10-year-old and they do a 17-year-old, which is the antique range. So I'll just pour this one here. This is just the normal 10, and this one here is the 1980s 10. Wow, okay, so these are both beautiful. I think the mash bill on this one, I think I've been trying to do a wee bit of research on it, and it's not very forthcoming. I do believe it's their #1 mash bill, and I believe that means it's a low rye content, which probably means it's quite a high corn content in this. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of malted barley, but I'm not sure how much. It seems to be a wee bit of a secret with this one. So that's not going to hold us back. It's matured in charred New Oak barrels, as all bourbons are. Just looking at the colour of these guys, I think there's a touch difference in the older one. I think it's just a shade darker, but the consistency looks absolutely fantastic. If you imagine this is a recent bottling and this is an 80s bottling, so there's not a lot of difference in the colour. We'll find out if there's any difference in the nose and the taste. Just a quick one on the 80s bottling, guys. I do believe this was a bottle that Master of Malt picked up from someone's collection, and they've split it up into little 3cl samples. Just to give you an idea, this 3cl sample costs £27, so you can imagine what that 10-year-old 1980s Eagle Rare would cost as a full bottle. But yeah, so I think we'll just crack on with the nose with these. I'll do the 10-year-old first, normal 10. Okay, so on the nose, First of all, it's pretty vanilla, caramel. I'm thinking this is a normal characteristic of bourbon whiskey, as there always seems to be some vanilla and caramel. Yeah, and this is no different. Beautifully vanillaed. It's a little bit of toffee now as well, but again there's that sweetness. Everything seems sweet. Vanilla's sweet, toffee sweet, caramel sweet. And this, on the nose, it has a real richness to the nose. It smells like there's some quality ingredients in this. This is not just something that's been thrown together. Just moving into the nose now. As the nose is going through, there's a wee bit of treacle coming in. Your brown sugars there. One of the things, there's a big cereal note, and I think that may be coming from the high corn content. Yeah, it's quite cereal. Nice though. Again, it's sweet. There's a bit of fruitiness coming in now. I'm picking up some red fruits. Thinking maybe cherries, some red apples, some cranberry. It's all kind of red fruits, which is giving it a real nice fruity sweetness. And there's a touch of spice in there, and there's a touch of citrus. Spice seems to be, thinking of picking up definitely some cinnamon, possibly some clove. But again, this on the nose, guys, it's a real nice nose. It's all beautifully balanced, wonderfully structured. This is real nice, guys. I know I keep saying it, but I love nosing whiskies. But this is a quality nose. And then just on the back end of the nose, you can tell it's now developed. It's gone quite oaky, picking up some wood notes, and you would expect that as for 10 years in the casks. Starts off lovely and sweet and fruity, a little bit of spice through the middle of the nose, and then it comes in with that oaky wood on the end of the nose. So anyway, guys, let's try this on the palate. Cheers. Okay, first things on that, guys, it's rich. It's all the sweetness is there. It starts off on the arrival. It's a nice soft arrival, and then the intensity builds. The sweetness, the fruits, the toffee, the red fruits, the cherries, all those berries, just really all hits you at once. It's a real intent. The intensity, the flavour that's coming in is just awesome. I can tell this is going to be a real nice bourbon. The mouthfeel, it's got a real thick, beautiful mouthfeel. It's mouth watering. As the mouth starts to water, the citrus notes comes in, the orange. It actually feels like it's a kind of red, possibly a blood orange. Picking up lots of honey and vanilla, that honey sweetness, vanilla sweetness. And as it goes through the development, the spices come in. That cinnamon definitely comes in, and the clove comes in. Beautiful. let's try another little sip, see if I can find anything else. Again with this one, folks, it's quite complex. I don't believe there seems to be, well, the word on the grapevine, and then you may put a board down in the comments if you disagree. I think a lot of people find that Scotch whiskies are a wee bit more complex than bourbon whiskies. I think this is quite complex. Everything's coming in it right, it's all kind of layered. So you've got the sweetness, you've got the toffees, you've got the caramels, then you've got those red fruits coming in. It actually turns quite jammy. It's like a cranberry, it's a strawberry jam, raspberry jam, all kind of reds, red fruits. Then as that goes through the development, the spices come in, the vanillas, the honeys, the spice, cinnamon, the clove, all comes through, and it's popping in at the right time. And then as it comes towards the end of the development, it goes quite oaky, quite woody, and quite dry. A little bit sour, a little touch of sourness. But right on the end of the development, I'm picking up possibly some coffee, maybe some coca, chocolate possibly, yeah, chocolate, maybe coffee. Might have to have another sip just to decide which one it is. Nice. I'm enjoying this bourbon journey. I think it's chocolate. Maybe a touch of coffee as well, but I'm favouring towards maybe a kind of milk chocolate. So, heading on into the finish. Let's try a little bit more for the finish. So, the finish is a long finish. It's warming. There's lots of vanilla, honey, all the sweetness is there, and as it heads right into the end of the finish, the wood and the spice is woody and it's spicy at the end. You would expect it to be woody after having those 10 years in the cask. And they look like they're nice casks as well, because this is a real nice piece of work. And that little bit of chocolate, a little bit of coffee is right on the end. So all in all, guys, this whiskey, I think in the UK it's available for about somewhere between £30 and £40. Sometimes I can pick it up on offer. I think it's a little bit cheaper in the US. I'm sure if it is, you'll pop in a comment and let me know. I seem to be getting my pricing wrong whenever I do these reviews compared to the American pricing and the UK pricing, but it's certainly about £30 or £40 in the UK. But all in all, I think that's a super whiskey. Actually reminds me a little bit of a single malt whiskey. I think it's the 10-year age statement. I think it's the higher ABV. Not sure if it's chill filtered. Maybe again somebody might pop a comment down below and let me know if it's chill filtered. But it smells wonderful, it tastes wonderful. So I'm really interested now to see how the older one goes. So without any further ado, as I say, this is a 1980s bottling. Everything should be the same, it's the same ABV. I'm not sure of the mash bill on this one. To be honest, I don't know a lot of history about this one. I just know it was out of a collection, it was bottled up into little samples. But straight away on the nose, it is a little bit darker in colour as we said earlier. But on the nose of this, straight away, this is much more intense on the nose. This is it feels like a more powerful nose. although they're both 45% ABV, 90 proof, but this just seems higher on the nose. Colour, as I say, is a touch darker in colour, but again, your usuals there, the honey's there, the caramel's there. Seems to be a little bit more brown sugar in this one. Still super sweet. This, I actually think I prefer the older nose. In this older nose, it also smells a little bit musty as well. Obviously it has been lying around a bit longer, but yeah, it's definitely mustier. Still getting the orange though. The orange is there, the citrus, the red fruits, cherries, berries are still there. I'm just feeling the older one, it's just a little bit more intense. Everything just seems much clearer. Still spicy, still woody. Let's try it on the palate. Cheers, guys. Yeah, this one, it's definitely more intense straight off the bat, whereas the younger, well, the newer one is a little bit softer to begin with on the arrival. This one is intense straight off, and the intensity just carries on straight through. This actually comes in a little bit spicier up front as well. It's still fruity, it's still sweet. Definitely more brown sugar in this one. The orange is there. Still woody. You can tell they're from the same distillery. I don't know what the distilling practices were, if they were any different back then, or whether the mash bills are any different. I'm not too sure on that. But it does taste different. It's a little bit mustier. I was going to say it tastes older, but they're both 10-year-olds, if that makes sense. But you could probably tell this has been lying around a little bit longer. Let's try some more. Wow. It's definitely woodier, it's definitely oakier. It's just the difference between them, guys, is the intensity. That's definitely more intense, the older one. So I don't know, I'm hard to try and fathom out what the difference is. Whether it's the mash bill, whether it's the way it's put together, but everything, you could tell they're the same whiskey. But the 1980s one just seems as if the volume has just been turned up a little bit on the recent one. What I'm going to try and do, guys, I'm going to try and pop a little bit. I'm going to try a little bit more with this, because I'm obviously going to finish these samples, so let's try a little bit of experiment while I've got it. So this is the younger one. Let's see if we can make a third one now. So I'm going to pop a little bit of the older one into this, just to see what this does. Wow, that's nice as well. When you actually mix both of these together, guys, something really awesome happens. This becomes more tropical. I think I'm picking up some tropical fruits now, maybe some banana, some pineapple. Wow, I'm even getting some marzipan now in this. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Wow. The nose. Actually, on the both of them, I think I prefer the nose of the newer one. But I think in the taste and the finish, I think the older one, I quite like the kind of higher ABVs. So although they're both the same ABVs, I think the older one's just a little bit more intense. I hope this is all making sense, guys, because I'm getting a little bit confused myself, but I think they are the same, but they're different, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's definitely a more intense in the 1980s bottle, and that musky note is still there, musty, like kind of old. I think you can just tell it's old. But that marzipan's quite strong now. The spices now, when I've mixed them, they seems to have lost a little bit of spice on the nose. Let's try it on the palate, see what it does. Now that I've mixed them, guys, it seems to have lost a little bit of the intensity. Well, I think it's the newer one I'm drinking anyway, isn't it? Yeah, I've only put a touch of the older one in. It's still not as intense as this one. They are very, very different. I think if I was to buy one of these, I think I'd buy the older one, but again, it comes down to money. I think if I'm paying £27 for a 3CL of this is probably take me up into the kind of £500 bracket, which I don't think is a £500 bourbon or a £500 whiskey. This, again, on the other hand, at £30 to £40, it's a no-brainer all day long, guys. This is just a novelty. I had the chance to buy this. I took a punt on it, but it's well worth the money. But it was worth a dram just to try a 1980s bourbon. I think it's certainly worth paying the money to do it. But this Eagle Rare 10-year-old, it's a no-brainer for the money. I would certainly have this. This will definitely come into my cabinet. I may even finish these drams off. If I've got time tonight, I may just pop online and maybe buy a couple of bottles. But it's super, super whiskey. If you've tried Eagle Rare, tell me what you think of the 10-year-old. Did you get the notes that I got? Am I talking rubbish? Pop a comment down below. If you've liked the video, guys, please don't forget to give me the thumbs up. And again, remember, if you've not clicked the subscribe button, you may want to consider clicking that button, guys, and helping me on my way to the 1K. But again, I'm Alan, the whiskey friend, doing bourbon. As I always say, the pleasure is in the sharing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye.